Hey guys, welcome to this week's recap of the Real Housewives of Miami. And I would call this episode, the girls did the damn thing again. Okay, this is how you want a reunion part 2 to be. It gave what it's supposed to give. You know, typically you get tired of the reunions after the first part. Usually the second part you can hang, and then the third part you probably over it. But this got me so excited for part 3, y'all. This, of course, is the recap for reunion part 2, Housewives of Miami. So where we last left off, pretty much Alexia was feeling attacked all season, and Lisa had the guts to say that, the reason why you probably felt like you were being attacked is, and you said that you're a star. It's that you feeling that everyone's coming after you is the reason why you shout out and you projected out to the ladies. And Alexia, she was like, no. I would encourage everyone to feel like they're a star and that the ladies have high confidence. Because if you did, Lisa, then Lenny would not have done what he has done to you. And all the girls are gagged. I'm like, what? Is this Lisa's fault that she's in this situation? Like, what is she trying to say? Is she trying to hurt Lisa? Why you go after Lisa? Lisa never came for you, Alexia. Chill. But, it's interesting to hear Lisa's response to what Alexia said. And I feel like, oh my God, Lisa is such a people pleaser. She kind of clarifies the situation. And she says that what I was trying to say was that, you don't let people talk. You don't let people finish their sentences. I'm trying to be your friend. I'm trying to tell you as a friend. And I'm like, no, Lisa, you need to get her together. She cannot just tell you have no confidence, even though you feel like you don't address it. Probably she didn't address it because she doesn't feel like she has low confidence. But the girl on national television says the reason why Lenny did what he did is because you lack high confidence. You don't feel like you're a star. Because if you were feeling like a star, then Lenny wouldn't have done what he did. But obviously, this is not Lisa's fault. This is not just Lenny's fault. It's a group effort. Let's go for that. But I was so shocked how Lisa, took that in. Like, did she not receive that? What Alexia was trying to say? But I'm like, oh my God. So Andy asked Alexia if she felt like, is there anything left for her to apologize? And Alexia, first thing first, she says, oh, of course, to Julia, because she didn't want to hurt her. And she says how strong Julia is. And, give compliments to Julia. And then she says she also felt like, of course, Gertie, she needed to give her an apology. But she felt like in that scenario, there was like a miscommunication. So it felt like this is like, miscommunication on whose part? I guess on both parts. So it's taking half the blame, half ownership. And I'm like, okay, we got over that and we got into the break. I feel like in this episode, in this season, and in this franchise, the breaks that they take have so much more tea. Usually we don't get all this. Usually we just go see pretty much the catalog of what happened in the season, and they go over it, and it's not as fun as entertaining. But this is like so interactive. We were getting the whole experience of this, and I was eating it up, definitely. So in the break room, the girls, Nicole and Gertie, Nicole is like feeling like, Alexia, that apology was pretty much half, like it was not an apology. She kind of like what I was saying before, apologizing to Gertie is kind of like, half-assed, let me just say it, half-assed apology. It was as her saying, oh, it's all about miscommunication, when she didn't clarify what was the miscommunicated part. But, of course, I didn't want the girls to get into that, really. I really do want Gertie and Alexia to kind of let that go. I don't want to hear this fight ever again because, no, that's not it. But, what was interesting, Nicole, she makes a point. She's like, oh, Alexia, of course, she had to apologize to Julia. If she didn't, she would be canceled for coming after and saying a generalization about women. And who is that slow to not apologize? So can you say it was really sincere? I mean, Alexia could read a room after the room has read. She saw the situation and she wanted to clean it up real quick. And it's hard to tell if the apology was genuine or not. But that's not my place to accept the apology on Julia's behalf. It has to be up to Julia. So what I would say in that scenario is that, we got to keep our eyes on it, see how she is with Julia, how their friendship blossomed, okay, to see if that apology was truly real. That's how you can tell ultimately for any apology received. Anybody who gives an apology to someone, of course, we have to question if it's genuine or not. But at the end of the day, actions speak louder than words. So if your apology is true, your actions should be loud and should resemble your apology. So, it was interesting to see, that out of all the apologies that she was giving, the girls, they felt like that Adriana should have gotten an apology, and that, Alexia should apologize for not scrolling. I love that how they were so specific about it. It's like she should apologize for not scrolling. And I love the clip that they keep going over to Alexia saying slander, slander, slander. I just love that. That should be a meme that played. I hope to get things situated where I can play out slander, slander, slander in moments that calls for Alexia to say that, So I did enjoy that little scene. I was a little shocked. I love that we get the little in-betweens of the scenes. And interesting enough, after the whole situation on the main stage, Alexia, she goes over to Julia's room, where she's getting herself together, doing her little makeup. And she goes over to Julia's room and she apologizes again to Julia. And Julia, she's so peaceful. She's like, I accept it. Like, she accepts the apology. And, Alexia, she's quite grateful that, Julia's receptive of her apology, which she should be grateful for, because even though you give an apology doesn't mean the person has to accept. And we have Adriana in the background and she's listening and she's just sitting mad. She is sitting mad. She's like, why is Alexia in my room? Pretty much energy. And Julia, she brings up the situation with Adriana, and we get to see unseen footage of the whole argument on the beach with the blowout about Frankie. And pretty much, we didn't get to see this, but there was a whole discussion about, Julia said you got to work things out. You guys are friends. You were her bridesmaid. And Alexia was over it. She was like, stop making this about feminism. Stop making this moment about the LGBTQA community. Because Alexia, she feels like she knows more than Julia about that. I'm like, more than Julia? Julia, she's married to Martina. She's part of the community. How can you say that you know more than Julia when she's part of that community? Like, girl, what are you saying? What are you saying? You're lucky you didn't air that. I'm like, damn. How many ignorant things Alexia is going to say this season? Like, damn. That's way too much. But, we hear that, Alexia was a bridesmaid for Adriana in her wedding. But she's like, oh, but we're really superficial friends. We're not really that deep. And she's pretty much making a case that how can she be friends with Adriana when Adriana told her that they found her dead husband, in the lover's funeral. And when she said that, I'm like, what did you say? How does that even make sense? I feel like we're having a Teresa Giudice moment where you're saying things and that's not what went down. That was not the situation. So, of course, Adriana, she steps up and she said, what I said was that her husband died while having sex with her male lover. And then, Adriana, she goes out and say that, Alexia, she outed her husband after her death and how distasteful that was. And, Alexia disagrees and say that, that's not the case. I didn't out him. That's what you think. That's not what I think. And that Adriana is actually jealous of Alexia. And I'm like, Alexia, every time an argument is not going your way, you cannot use the excuse that the girl is jealous of you. It could be the case because we don't know. I don't know if she's jealous of you. But you can't do that in every argument because then it loses seriousness. Like, how are we supposed to believe you, So pretty much, she gets back to Julia and dismisses Adriana, and she's like talking to Julia very seriously. And, Julia sits and she seems to receive her. And it's like Alexia really wants to connect with Julia. Like, it looks like they're trying to have a moment. But Julia is so peaceful, and she's going through a lot personally, dealing with Martina's health issues. So she looks like she's past this drama. And Alexia, she cries, and she doesn't want to be painted as the mean girl, and that these girls, they jump on her to be painted as a mean girl. And then, of course, Adriana, she jumps in and she's like, oh, look at Alexia's crocodile tears, and that sends Alexia to go attack and go after Adriana. And then after she's done, saying what she want to say to Adriana, she goes back, which is so weird. She goes back to Julia and give her a hug. And then she goes back and then gets upset with Adriana, and she's leaving the room. She's in the room. She's leaving the room and yelling things at Adriana. And I just feel bad for the makeup artists. Like, the makeup artists are still doing their makeup and everything, and they're like, oh my God, we really have to sit and listen to this. I wonder. I think that's their norm because they look so comfortable. They paid no mind to it. So they probably used to that. Anywho, they get back on set and all the girls are on the main stage, and we have Adriana and Kiki. I'm so super excited to see Kiki. And Kiki, of course, is super excited to see us. Her boob comes out and the girls are in love with Kiki. I feel like they really received Kiki more than they did Adriana in that friend of moment. So I'm like, Adriana, you see Adriana giving side eyes. She's sitting there quiet. I feel like she feels like she's not the cool girl, and Kiki's the cool girl, and everyone's like excited to see the cool girl. But anyway, this is our moment for Kiki. Kiki, she is looking so gorgeous. The girls are complimenting her. She looks stunning. And we get into Kiki's Whopper moment. And we had to, of course, address this because this was an iconic moment. Like, I love a girl who eats. And Kiki, in that moment, with fighting the girls, she was through and over with it. She pulled from her purse and started eating her Whopper. And the question from Andy is like, are you used to eating cold Whopper? Is that okay with you? And she's like, she's used to it. And like, at one point, that's what she could afford, long ago. And I just love Kiki, and I hope we get to see more of her, and that she feels comfortable enough to do it, because we love Kiki. So Andy, he goes over and asks Julia pretty much, how can you say you miss your child so much, but you don't even know what school she goes to? And she says she's dyslexic. I don't know if she's being serious or she's kidding. But, we get into much serious topics about her and Martina's health issues in adopting. And I like how she started it off. She's pretty much started off saying, when you have a child, that child is everything. And she says, but right now, everything is about Martina. And so everything when it comes to the adoption is being placed on hold. It would be amazing to get great news from the adoption agency, but right now they really are focused on Martina. And I thought that was so reflective, And Kiki, she is so sweet. She offers her daughter and says to Julia, remember, Kiki and Julia were not at a good place, but now they're at a good place, which I love to see. So Kiki, she said, Julia, if you want to watch over my kid, you're free to watch over my kid. And of course, the cast, Andy, everyone jumps in and offer, sweet Julia opportunity to watch over their kids. She wants more kid energy. Julia is such a good person. I hope everything goes well with them. And we all wish the best for Martina and her recovery. So we get into the romantic moment with her partner Martina, and what was interesting, like we were watching this moment and we're thinking, oh, this is cute. They're in the water, jumping in the water, but I didn't realize how significant this moment was for her and Martina. What Julia says is that she's lived in Miami for over 10 years and she has never, not once, jumped in the water. I'm like, huh? And Marisol, she chimes in. She's like, the show makes you do things you don't typically do. And it's quite therapeutic. And Julia agrees because, she would have never thought or have done that in the first place. And, it obviously made her do things that she don't normally do. And, she also mentions, like other housewives have mentioned before, of, the benefit of being able to watch yourself on the show and how you interact, that she has become more grateful of things that she initially, wasn't so grateful or made it in a situation. Like, for example, her complaining dinner for 2 when she wanted dinner for 4, given the condition that Martina is in now, of course she would take that back. She would love to have a dinner for 2, So of course, things that she looked forward to is, swimming in the water more, going on the Aspen trip, which is a big deal for Martina. And of course, dinner for 2. So, these two, I knew, that they're in love. And, I didn't want them to use their relationship and make it a thing as a storyline. And this is the reason why, because, you don't want to take for granted these moments, Just be happy, guys. So they got in a little bit about how sweet Martina was to Julia in BravoCon. Like, she is one of the supportive partners on the Housewife franchise. Like, everyone was so shocked how Martina, such a legend, is such a also supportive, sweet partner. Like, she can take, the focus off her and focus on her partner. And I think that's what all these housewives want, So, congrats to Julia and Martina's relationship. They're strong, they're happy, and they're healthy. So, of course, Marisol, she wants a bathroom break. And I just love how funny the edit is of Marisol's, bathroom poster. So, this is where she goes. I'm like, oh my gosh. And what was interesting, while they were doing this small little break, Andy, he asked the girls, which was so shady of him because he knows the drama. He asked, have you guys seen or spoken to Anna? And I thought that was so shady because Anna talks so much smack about these girls and that these girls are not here for Anna. Can you imagine if Anna came back? That would be insane. So, Anna, she has her own little podcast and she not her own podcast. She likes to get on someone else's podcast and talk about these girls. And so these girls, they say, no. They don't talk to her. They haven't seen her. They don't look for her. But interesting enough, Anna reached out to Nicole. And when Nicole said that, Alexia, she looks up. She's like, I'm not scared. And because, Anna and Alexia do not like each other. Now, that would make for great television because Alexia, I don't know. So pretty much Nicole, she's so shady. She's such a great housewife. Nicole is like, you don't have to be scared. She's like, I do not repeat things I do not know of to be true, And I thought that was so shady. I'm like, that was a hit to who? To Larsa. And of course Larsa, she took the bait and she's like really? Not at all, really? And of course Andy, he's like, no girl, save it. The cameras are not rolling all the way yet, so hold it. And I thought that was so hilarious because, oh my God, the breaks, the in-betweens, we never get this with the other housewives. Not like to this level. That's why I thought this reunion was a home run for sure. So let's get into Gertie. This was a moment for Gertie. So what's interesting enough that Andy asked Gertie was that, okay, do you guys really get busy together 3 times a week, you and Russell? And she's like, yes, but since then we have definitely upped it. So that leads into a whole conversation to who else has a lot of sex in the group. And Alexia, of course, she was like, a lot. And Nicole was like, same here, a lot. And, Larsa, she got the girls beat. Larsa says 4 times a night when she was married with Scotty, okay? Every night. And the girls are like, what? Like, don't lie to us. And, Gertie, she's like, I like what Gertie said. Gertie's like, oh, when he's away too, like, come on. And Larsa, she looked at Gertie, gave her that eye contact, and said, no, she travels with her man. She flies private, and she goes with her man. So there is no break for her. And I'm like, oh my God, that was a good read. Not only for her, but to Khloe Kardashian, to Tristan Thompson always cheating. You got to stay on the man, So we get into a conversation about Marcus. And pretty much, at first they're like, oh, Marcus got big shoes to fill. And Larsa, she shoots back. Larsa, she's quick with it. She's like, well, he's pretty good. He wears a size 15, so he ain't got nothing to worry about. And I'm like, damn, that is way too quick. You've been a housewife when you ready for the comments like that, okay? So Andy asked her pretty much if her and Scotty talk about the situation. And she's like, no, her and Scotty only talk about the kids and that they don't get involved in each other's personal lives. And, he also asked if Marcus hangs out with the kids. And Larsa says he hangs out with the kids and she hung out with his family. But it's not like what everyone thinks it is. She explains that, even though everyone thinks that it's weird for those two to be together given the history between Scotty and the Jordans, she says that she only had met Marcus only a few years ago. And she also clarifies that when Larsa was with Scotty the very last year he played with Jordan, she never met Jordan's wife or his kids. So the families never intertwined. They were not like co-mingling. They don't know each other. They don't go over and those kids play with her kids and stuff like that. No. So interesting enough, Andy, he asked, what would you think if Michael Jordan's ex-wife dated her son? She said, love is love, and she will be happy if her son is happy. And I think she has to say that because she would look like a hypocrite, and she's not going to let you throw that in her face. No, not Larsa. So, a good question was asked, which started a whole conversation. So, Andy asked Larsa if she gets married to Marcus, would she hyphenate to pipe in Scotty Jordan? No, not Scotty. Just sorry, my bad. If she would hyphenate to pipe in Scotty or Scotty pipe in. Oh, why did I say Jordan? Wait. Oh, I did that wrong. Hold up. Let me get myself together. He asked if she would hyphenate. So it would be Scotty. No. Would it be Scotty? Yes. No. Scotty is his first name. Oh my God. It would be Pipin Jordan. Maybe he got it wrong because I wrote it the way he said it. So one of us got to get it together. So pretty much would they hyphenate? And, Larsa, she says that she would definitely change her last name to whoever she got married to. So that doesn't necessarily mean Marcus Jordan, but, she's open to it, to whoever she gets married to, which is very smart, very clever, because she's, taking her time in her relationship. But Gertie is like, no, you got to drop that last name. And Larsa and Marisol, they're on team. No, Alexia and Marisol, they're on team hyphenate. That would be so epic. So, we get into Larsa's behavior in the season. And the question was asked is whether or not Larsa hit below the belt. Of course, the girls on the other side of the couch raised their hands. supporting, saying, yeah, she hits below the belt. But her response is that when she feels challenged, she will come for you. And, she has a group called the Larcenists, And we get into all the things that she talked about, which were true. And then we get to the one that was still up for debate. So Larsa said that Julia was kissing a man at such and such and such and such. And at first, Julia was denying the accusation. But when Larsa says, there's photo proof, all of a sudden, Julia says, oh, yeah, it's true. But it turns out in that situation, it was her best friend who designed her dress, Naeem Khan. So, Larsa was right about that. Larsa also mentioned that Lisa has a mortgage. And Lisa was like, we do not have a mortgage. And it turns out that Lisa did have a mortgage. And, Andy had to go into her. That is not a bad thing to have a mortgage. And, of course, Lisa was like, well, it seemed like she was trying to weaponize it as if she cannot afford her lifestyle. Which, of course, I can see why she can be defensive about that. But the way she went about it was not cool. So Larsa was right about that. Does she weaponize information about her friends? She says that, she doesn't back down if you challenge her. So it could seem the case, but, she doesn't start it. That's why don't start anything you can't finish with Larsa, okay? So how does this dirt get to her? Like, how does she get this information? So pretty much the information just falls in her lap. She's not disclosing her sources. Just know that she gets sources and information comes to her. She pretty much knows everything about everybody on this stage. Now, when it comes to the hospital situation, the girls want to debate whether or not this is true or not. So we talk about the DM that Larsa received and also Marisol. And, saying that, Nicole, she sleeps with many men and one of them being married. When we start to get into the situation, the girls are yelling at each other. This is still up for debate and we want to get to the bottom of this. So, obviously, the girls, they want to take a lie detector test. And, Larsa, she shoots out. She says she don't have time for this. She has real jobs. And I'm like, but Nicole's a doctor. And Larsa points out, all the things that, the girls have said about her on the show. And, it's interesting, she can be a doctor, but look how she conducts herself. She wants to be professional, but then she doesn't want to be professional. Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. So she wants either Nicole to be one way, but not the other. But that's not possible because she's the person. She has a life. I think what bothers Nicole is that you're talking about something that could affect her professional life when she hasn't done anything unprofessional. And, Larsa, she gets into, what Nicole did to her was that they called her a homewrecker. Even though that it didn't air it out at the time, people were saying to Larsa, information was getting back to Larsa, that Nicole was calling her a homewrecker. And we want to understand, how did Larsa home wreck? Like, who home did she wreck? And Nicole, she said that she wrecked Malika Beasley's home because he was married. Larsa clarifies and said, no, he was not. Get your facts. No, she did not. And, in this tit for tat, Julia, she stands up for Nicole. And, Julia, she says that Nicole is the anesthesiologist for Martina, and that Martina's life is in her hands. And she is nothing but a professional, and she trusts Nicole the most. And I thought that was such a sweet moment. I said, that's a good friend. Julia didn't have to do that. Julia doesn't even have to participate in this conversation. She's going through so much. But even though she's going through a lot, she does stick up for her friends in the right moments. So we want to understand, us as the audience, why does Anthony not like Larsa? Like, what changed? Because he was really going in on Larsa. And, Larsa, she thinks that he likes her. I'm like, girl, stop. But Nicole gives us the reason, and it's because of the comment that Larsa made in the previous season, saying that Nicole and Anthony's son was made out of wedlock, calling him pretty much a bastard kid. And, I agree, and Andy agrees too, and says that was not a nice comment. And, Larsa's completely deflective over this. We then get into the petty, shady mirror. And, I thought this was an iconic moment that will go down in history in the Housewife franchise and all the franchises of a shady moment. But the girls are not really convinced. They're saying that Nicole, she's not that clever to do that on her own. But the thing is why does it matter? It happened, and that was her moment. She did that. She did the damn thing. So, we have to look at Larsa and wonder if there's any remorse. And Larsa, she doesn't have any remorse. The only thing she would have changed is that she wouldn't have said that, that I can judge you too. That comment, it made open for more issues and more drama. But we're here for it, of course. So the girls, they get into a break. It is break time. And the break time is lit. Like, Larsa, she calls Nicole a chihuahua. And I'm like, oh my God. And she said that her and Anthony are pretty much obsessed with Larsa. I'm like, no. That's crazy. I don't think obsessed, though. But Marcus, he's a supportive partner. So he's there and he's like watching over his bae and giving her positive feedback, which is cute to see because not all these housewives have a partner who will actually come on the show and be so supportive. Okay? But on the other side, Nicole is heated. And, Adriana, she's hyping Nicole up. And, Adriana's saying to Nicole that it's only natural for your husband to defend you. If he didn't, then we would look at him weird. So I don't think that's the end of that drama between Nicole and Larsa. So, ooh. So we get back, and we're talking about Kiki's vagina. Her vagina chakra, how is it doing? So we are shocked to learn that Kiki is still single, and everyone is like wondering why, because she's such a beautiful soul, beautiful person. And pretty much what she says is that the problem is that most men in Miami are like Lenny. So I wonder, what does that mean, like Lenny? And pretty much, she's a head shape expert, and she can spot a cheater. So probably she's trying to say a lot of the men here in Miami are cheaters. So Gertie give us some tea, and she had some suspicion on Lenny and Lisa's relationship. She had spotted some issues before that it was announced that they will no longer be together. And for her, it was that moment where Lenny refused to come over to a space where all the supporters of Lisa came to pretty much gather together. And she was about to give a speech, and Lisa's like is begging him to come over, come to the space. And Lenny was like, no, he's not interested, pretty much. And Lisa tells us that he was like that all 15 years of their relationship. He's just pretty much socially awkward, that he doesn't have I guess, emotional intelligence to really, immerse himself in a group of people outside of focusing in his work life, So they talk about the signs. Was there signs? And, finally, Lisa sees it as a red flag that him getting into shape all of a sudden when he never worked out 15 years of her asking. And then on top of that, him taking testosterone. I ain't think you gotta put all his information out there. That's why Lenny should have showed up to this reunion, okay? And what's kind of crazy is her describing her sex life. I feel like, girls, they get together, they talk about their sex life. And if for example, Larsa, she's doing 4 times a night, and you out here getting 1 to 2 times a week, that's not too good. And she said it wasn't never really amazing. So I don't know why she's saying, was she not into it? Was she not attracted to him? Then why carry on in such a long relationship? I'm kind of looking at Lisa a little sideways because, that should have been a great indicator. But the lifestyle in Miami is very appealing. So I don't know. I would feel like you should get like some therapy in year 5 if you're just getting 1 to 2 twice a week. Girl. And he likes to have women around him all the time. He's looking at boobs all the time. No. That's major red flags. So they did get to ask her about the Halloween party. Because, at that point, they were not, they say they're getting divorced, but they still co-hosted a Halloween party together. So pretty much he lives for that party. Like, this is like a big moment for him. And she has to agree because she couldn't really tell him no. They share the home together. So they had to do the party. And it gets into a conversation about Lisa's parties. And Kiki, before she knew Lisa, she used to go to these parties as a guest, invited by promoters and whatnot. And she, Kiki is a model in Miami. And she has known like other models that he cheats with. And I'm like, that's not a shocker because there has been some speculation about this. But I really do think that maybe Lisa was covering for him. And I hope we could get some more information, more insight into this, because this marriage should have not lasted 15 years. Come on. All the writing was on the wall. And once again, the girls did it. They delivered this reunion, and I enjoyed all the girls. All the girls played their part, played their role. Even Adriana, who, didn't have much participation in this episode, she did get a lot of, action out of Alexia in the breaks. So all the girls, they did their part. I would love to see them all come back next season, and I look forward to next week, part 3 of the reunion. The girls they're really doing it. Like, what do you guys think? I would give this episode a 10. It's giving a 10 because I haven't been so excited for a reunion for quite some time. And, we've been let down a lot. And I'm so happy that these girls, they're really delivering Miami for us. They are serving. So I look forward to the next recap of The Real Housewives of Miami, part 3. I hope you guys too as well. Please like, share, and subscribe. Welcome to the gang, guys. And do not forget to always spread and share as much kindness as you possibly can. You don't gotta do too much, but you gotta do a little part. Come on. So take care, guys, and have a good night. Bye.